just had this on Twitter with the photo.
We're all very sad.
Yeah.
Let's wait for our other dude coming.
Oh my god.
Who is it?
Oh, another guy.
Yeah, he said that he was Ghostbusters. He'd be here in a second.
Yeah, look up in the card.
Oh, shit.
Oh, the door open.
Yeah, the door
open. That one.
Virginal.
It's weird, I live in a house where all that stuff is kept, but I've never once even touched them or opened a single pack.
Really?
Yeah.
How big is the injury?
It's just, I just don't want to mess with it because Dan has a system.
This one for the photo? Like,
Okay, cool.
Do you want to be sad?
no, where are you?
Fucking Why are we... Are we here? You'll be watching me sad.
They're making funny orbs in that digital picture, though. Like,
Sure, yeah, let's talk funny orbs.
It's going to be on Facebook once I get home anyway. Well, where is that? I guess at Central Florida Ghostbusters.
Yeah, our page is public, so.
Yeah.
Do you play RPGs, tabletop?
I wish I could, but I'm just astounding and ridiculous stuff.
Is that what it is?
I mean, we have the CGA show there. This show is usually over there, like twice per year, but for some reason, they weren't able to have it there in the spring this year, so they told us they come to Ocala, so. Yeah, Homeland Security had it there.
Really? Really?
A couple of the,
Patrons?
thank you.
You're welcome.
King Drift and Sullivan.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. So
You know,
that's
you
about
remember the
right.
CGA, like, you know, from Dollar Tree? And basically in short, yeah, that's it. And now you can't do it anymore, so they came to this book.
Really, because on Facebook they said that we'd be back at the Armory.
Yeah, they had it. They're having to get back around to that. Well, it's really what I'm going to do. Nuclear accelerators.
Yeah, we Dan just walked in with one.
He just walked in. I mean, well, you know, how do you guys remember how I approached you guys about wanting to do a Ghostbusters game?
I just asked us if we were interested in playing a Ghostbusters RPG.
It's hard for me to remember.
I remember because you had never played any tabletop RPG.
Right.
And I got you into D&D.
Right.
And like immediately you started looking up, there's apparently a Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
You found it, Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones, Ninja Turtles.
You wanted Josh to do it, but Josh...
Yeah, I wanted to
do
DM it at first because he's like really good at 4th edition D&D, and I've never DM'd before, so I was like, I don't really know what to do. But the system was so simple that I'm like, I can do that. And then it was like, you know, a thing that'll make this even easier is if you guys just play as yourselves. So I don't have to worry about character. I don't have to worry about you guys getting along. And then if I set it in Orlando, in real places, I don't have to find anything. And then I have to count. Yeah, it's up to you to know where you are, and all I have to do is just count the numbers, which is hard enough for me to do. And then that ends.
To the point where you had to get out your phone and roll dice on the phone.
Yeah.
At one time.
Yeah. There was the other thing was that since we do it in seasons, it's not like one super long campaign. Each thing is broken up into seasons like a movie would be or whatever, so there's a beginning, middle, and end to each season, and each season can kind of stand on its own.
And with a huge climax at the end of each.
Right. Yeah. The idea was that I figured they have day jobs, you know, and if I say, oh, let's start playing Ghostbusters, you know, in 6 months after doing it every week, they'd be like, all right, well, you know, I gotta do other things. But it was like, no, we're going to be beginning, middle, and end, and we'll only do it for like 2 months, and then you guys can do whatever you want after that.
And then he'll take at least one a month on the Nerdy Show after adding it down, adding the sound effects, the music, all that stuff. Cutting most of what Greg says out.
It is a landmark. It is a minefield.
Every game has one.
Like, it is worse than the North Korean D&D. You know, he knows right down for you sometimes, I think. It doesn't have to put up with.
Oh.
And Rush.
It's not that bad.
How many times you put
He's robot sometimes. He's robot.
That's the only thing. Everyone acts like how you guys normally would in reality, except for Briggs. Because Briggs is always like wanting to do the stupidest, craziest.
So I really act myself, which is zero inhibition.
I think, again, the fact that Briggs wants to do all this crazy stuff in real life, but he can't because he will probably die. So he's like, oh,
He
well...
almost died on the show.
Yeah, and he's almost died on the show a few times. So he's like, oh, well, we're playing a game. He's all being myself. He's almost inspired even.
Look. Unity serves purpose a couple of times.
Never during the
Unity serves its purpose when you take your shower. not when we're trying to bust the ghost. You're not going to frighten it with your nudity.
But yeah, keeping it into a season format, I don't know, it's enabled me to tell it. I felt that creative itch was scratched to tell a complete story and then not have to worry about throwing too many shitty things, and then you guys can do it, and you hopefully want to come back for more. This isn't at the end of the day, so that's, you know.
Yeah, we're not playing for like 3 years before we get to like some kind of plot resolution.
Right.
Yeah.
But like originally, it wasn't even
Monster of the Week.
well. The idea wasn't for this to even turn into like a podcast. It was literally just he was recording it so that he could listen back and see how good of a job he was doing with DMing. And then
I was so unsure of my skill.
Yeah.
I was like, do I suck? Let me record my own self and listen and hear if I suck.
and then he came across the audio and music for the game and was like, oh, I'll make this fun for us to go back and listen to. So he added the sound effects and stuff like that.
He put it on Tumblr.
He put it on Tumblr.
And just gave us the links and stuff. But then, like, you know,
People started listening to it.
liked a bunch of Ghostbusters stuff. And then Cap from the Nerdy Show found out about it.
A fan of Nerdy Show somehow found our Tumblr and listened to a few episodes, and then they contacted Nerdy Show, and the Nerdy Show was like, oh wow, you guys make a pretty good show, like quality. They thought the quality was really good, even though I was just making it. I didn't think about making it or whatever. And they invited us out to meet. When they found out that we were local in Orlando, they were just like, oh man, you guys want to be part of the Nerdy Show Network? And we're just like, alright,
sure.
Yeah. Like, we don't know any of them or any of the whatever, but if it'll get people to listen to it, then why not?
And then a couple months later, we started finding fan art of ourselves.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing. Because a friend of mine who is big into Ghostbusters was listening to the podcast and started going to GB fans and trying to help us out. And one of the GB fans forum members named V started listening and was like, I love these guys. Started talking to my friend, and he's like, oh. She's like, yeah, I'd love to draw a fan art of them. And he just sent her all of our Facebook profile pictures. Like, here you go. Here's all before you.
Yeah, we had no idea.
So I log into Facebook and so I'm on Facebook talking to my buddy, like, hey, check this out. And he sends me fan art of our podcast. I'm like, why does that look exactly like me and everyone else? What is going on?
We're just disembodied voices.
How do they know we're on Facebook?
Sure, voices sound that much like what we look like.
He was like, we were living in the same house at the same time. So I come running out and I'm like, Fool, we have fan art. He's like, what? Yeah, it was monstrous and amazing.
Yeah. Checked off like goal there.
Yeah. Someone drew fan art of us. And then what's weird about the podcast is we have a ton of international listeners. Like there's some hardcore international Ghostbuster fans.
Yeah, she was right. Coming here to be saved. That's exactly.
I was considering.
I really want to. Actually,
I see that thing. When I remember thinking someone opened the damn container unit. Somebody first get that EPA guy out of the way.
It's a class. 5.
Well, good term for the EPA, actually.
Yeah, our podcast, even though it's based off of the first, second movie and then the video game that came afterwards, it is modern day. So we try to fill in the gap of like what happened in the 20 years, since.
The NBA teams are essentially when you got to vote a license.
They don't have choice. It exists.
In their show, the EPA inspector, his name's Alan Friedman, he came by and they were super suspicious because like he heard stories about how that went down in New York. It was actually like really cool and like covers for them and stuff like that.
Oh.
And then they started a shoot off of Peacock, Paranormal Contract Oversight Committee, and keeps them in line.
Oh, here's one. Let's take the Liberal Ghostbusters. When they open it, and it's all over the place. It's running around. Your world, your current world, how common would you say is paranormal phenomena?
Well, when the show began, the idea was that it wasn't common at all. In fact, a lot of people started to not believe. They think that the stuff that happened in New York in 1984 was like a fake or something. There's not a lot of evidence for that.
So you're saying that the Gozer Tower was a thing that started in that area and then it didn't spread.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought it was like some hoax. So we're in Florida, like so the same way that like it's easier for somebody who lives in like Wisconsin to think of their language.
You did have a lot of approach to it, and that if the media reports it as a fluke, everybody just believes
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
But then even when we first got hired on in the universe and we're like sitting around the firehouse, we're just bored.
And I think there's only one of our characters who believed in ghosts.
During the first episode,
we just figured it was a quick ghost.
Yeah, we literally were like, oh, we'll get this job and we'll fire
So
off.
are you government sanctioned now?
Yes.
Well, initially, that's a desk worker. That's a complicated answer for an universe answer. It's more like it is a private company. The government started a Ghostbusters franchise in Orlando because they were getting the police and fire department were getting too many phone calls about strange stuff, and they said, look, there is a thing called Ghostbusters. If we just finance a firehouse, we finance the vehicle, and then the franchise will come in.
Do they all franchise into firehouses?
Well,
There's a firehouse in the area you can't have.
I mean, in reality, it can go into anywhere.
No, I know. For the flavor.
Right.
And by the way, may I just interrupt for a minute? It's wonderful to meet Seth MacFarlane in person.
It's funny with the suit. I didn't even think about it.
It was more of like,
It wasn't the suit, it's the face. He just said, you know what, when you talk, you got the two front teeth and you got the stubble and, you know.
if people call him a handsome man, I'll take it.
I have not met those people because I'm sure some people.
I'll take it as a complimentary direction.
Well, just like I'm sure it's wonderful for you to meet Moses in person.
If we meet Moses in person, we're going to have to like him. I'm sorry.
I know Moses is the scariest wizard in any story. If you take that as a story of a man who's a wizard and compare it to any other wizard, it's crazy.
He brings down
horrifying. Yeah, he's horrifying. Yeah, but that's not how the Pharaoh saw
I
him.
think Moses was the reason that they met it.
It's true.
Let my people go and I'll part the stage. And go, hey, you didn't kill your son? Oh, man.
So when you guys started the game, the idea was that nobody really believed in ghosts anymore.
Yeah.
And even when they signed up, it was like you said, it was like a cushy government job.
Yeah, sit around, get paid to answer questions.
Yeah.
No spirit guide was like there was one topic in the Library of Congress that nobody ever shared.
Right.
Yeah.
Then one day the call comes in and they see something that's undeniable, undeniably real.
Now in your universe, the whole, what do they do about the footage of the Stay Puft Marshmallow there?
Well, that's the thing. In the footage of we've never, in any of the films, seen footage of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, so we don't know if on film it just appeared as a floating orb, or if it appeared like in a...
Oh, no, that is true, but then what about the footage of, because we did have reporters when they came out of the tower, out of the building.
That is true, yeah.
What about that footage?
Well,
they smeared themselves with marshmallows.
Well, again, even in the movies,
we believe that happened.
but even in the movies, it was hallucinogenic tattoo and a fake electronic light show. That was even
Walter Peck
the kids 5 years later make fun of the Ghostbusters birthday party.
They had an electric light orchestra come in.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Nobody was on top of that building other than the Ghostbusters.
So no one knows that I dressed up like a Gozer.
different colors, but no one goes in there.
I could see that too, that Tully's the only person they would interview.
Yeah.
And he's out of this gorge.
And they just write him off of the tire.
I was a dog, and then I met a shrink ray, and my kids got small.
I mean, even at the end of the movie, they don't interview him.
Yeah.
He goes around up with paramedics, like, no, you come with us. You need to be taken over here.
Well, he was the
I was up there.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk to me.
He saw what he saw. He believed what he saw. And it blew his mind out of his asshole.
That's what I did.
But you got like Winston Sedmore who comes in and, do you believe in ghosts and demons? If there's a heavy paycheck in it, I'll believe in anything you want. Yeah.
That was pretty much our Yeah, our stance.
And we are all the Winsters of like...
We took the general stance.
You know what? I'm getting paid to sit around, play cards, and answer prank phone calls.
No, wait, that would be Janine.
Nina in our university. Nina's our secretary.
Nina is your secretary.
Yeah, she couldn't be here today.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
We went to Europe in season 2, and she's trilingual, so it helped a lot. Yeah.
I'm also trilingual. I'll try any language. That's good.
So she spoke French, German, and English. And
French, German, and English.
Yeah, we went to Germany, France,
and England.
We also went to Austria. We ended up in Czech. Slovakia.
You know, I've been to Austria. Them fingers.
So, the important thing to, as far as the show goes, or the podcast, is that the only person who knows what's going on is Doug, who writes like kind of a vague, like here's what's going to go on.
Yes. So I'm dressed as the manager because I'm the GM
of our franchise.
So you don't have to do quotation marks. I know what GM means.
Well, maybe GM means Ghost Master. Ghost Master.
No, it's a triple entendre.
Actually, yeah, we'll be triple entendre.
So,
it's good man.
Yeah,
but it means that any interaction that we have is entirely improv on our end. Like, we literally have to go in and kind of actually investigate things by like, okay, well, we're going to look into this. And then Doug decides whether that's a relevant thing for us to look at, and then kind of help, like, we put it together and then have to solve how to bust it. He kind of has to roll with the punches. So I'm sure that there's plenty of times where he's been like, this is how this is going to go. We're like, dude, let's investigate, and like, you just keep going in one direction. And then he's had to be like, yeah, I didn't even think about that originally when I started planning this.
Only a couple. But the good thing is, it is like the films, because once paranormal activity starts, there's a
once paranormal activity starts, the whole audience walks up. That's terrible.
But once any ghosts show up, we know that there's one central cause, like, and that's what the whole season becomes about. Is what sparked this whole psychokinetic event.
Yeah. And during the first season, it started like a monster of the week.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what you guys were assuming. You're like, okay, well then what do we do this week? What do we do this week?
Yeah.
And then after a while, you start to notice there's like a pattern, and that there's a connection, that they all have a meeting point. You're like, wait a minute. And then hopefully it was a surprise that there was
There's a twist, and then we all lost it.
Yeah.
Like, literally while we're playing the game, it all comes together, and we were just like, oh my god, no. I can't believe you did this.
Briggs almost died like 7 times.
Let me ask you one thing. You're slightly different direction for a minute. You're containment units in the universe. Inside the containment units, you do the real Ghostbusters.
They don't have a viewer.
Because I always thought there were, because I always figured it was just you plug it in, it holds it like an SD card or a storage device or something, and Big Slimer's not floating around hanging out the table.
Precisely. Yeah. Well, the one issue though is that the game had
the video game.
Yeah, the video game had a viewport, and Slimer was like obsessed with it, and he would.
Well, I think what they've done is, and I don't know so much agree with this, but I think they've melded the Ghostbusters and the real Ghostbusters. As it went on, because just I'd say like 5% real Ghostbusters. I love the real Ghostbusters, I did, but it's a separate universe.
Yeah. Very funny. Nobody looks like it.
You can't combine the real Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters any more than you can combine the Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters.
Actually, according to the real Ghostbusters, they are the real Ghostbusters.
Right.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
The movie. And they put the actual movie footage in the theater while they were watching it.
That's true. You got very good call.
Very good call. Very good call.
That was just a documentary, right?
I actually love Sailor
Yeah, that's a very good point.
But my answer would be that because you asked about installing the viewer into the containment unit, and I'm like, if you do that, it's not going to cool. I'm talking about, well, pull that. Yeah, pull that. At the end of season 2, you see.
It doesn't tell if you're talking a pool or
I wish I was here.
That's the most manly thing you've ever been called.
Other than
in our presence.
Give that beard a chance.
I actually shaded off. It was actually pretty
You know, this is a girlfriend said she likes the beard, a little stubble, so this is a running joke. I'm gonna let it go till it falls off.
But you're, if we did install it, it wouldn't be like the real Ghostbusters. It'd be a little bit different. But that's between seasons 2 and 3.
We're not making any trips into the game.
That is not happening.
The thing is, like, someone remember.
We've had some pretty awful ghosts. Yeah. Too. I don't want to check it. I don't want to deal with the section.
The thing is, I remember
them
showing Slimer in the real Ghostbusters, showing Slimer in the containment unit were so craggy and apparently the containment unit was made by H.P. Lovecraft.
In there one bunch of decks that they busted the 3 Ghosts of Christmas and they did
But then I don't remember them actually, it's been a long time, I remember actually having a viewer into it. Like, what do they have, like a screen or something they could watch?
Actually, they have like a glass window. They could like look right directly in there because they busted Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty.
I remember that!
And they put them in later on Holmes specifically used it at the end of the episode that he was torturing all the ghosts with his violin playing.
How did you think you'd come here to this small-time convention to find 2 actual ghosts?
Yeah. Well, we didn't know what to expect. They invited us and was just like,
we just came here with optimism.
Yeah. There's got some good questions for you. I'm assuming he's sober, so that's 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I've only ever done like one panel before with Nerdy Show for this, and it was at MegaCon. So
Well, the thing is,
so
these kind of things are these kind of things are great for marketing and pushing everything. You say this is what you release a couple of those. This is what you can expect at the convention. Here's the convention dates, and by the way, you get a lot more people coming in just to see you. Rather than just picking a stragglers.
We've been very conscious of the fan community around the.
Well, that's why we even the dice and the cards and the franchise kits is because people were asking how to play it. And the PDFs, PDFs are floating around all over the internet.
They've been out of production for 30 years.
Well, that's the thing is you guys, your card game, and you can put it on there, your card game and your tuck boxes are very professional made. Very
Thank you.
Yeah, they're not printing them on an inkjet printer. You get them with a glue stick.
We actually shopped around because the guys that ended up doing this are amazing. And
they're local too.
They're local, and it was hard to find them because we went with somebody who's much bigger, and their quality was nowhere near.
Well, you know, it's like your dice. I'm very surprised that years ago, this was in 2003, 2004. I was very surprised Chessex gets such a good deal on every time I mention Chessex, I get $300. Chessex! No, but I was surprised they get such a good deal, and you know, that means that your dice are such high quality because you were tied in with such a great company.
Yeah, we really like it's great because the first time we actually started playing with an actual ghost size that we had made was until midway through season 2.
Well, you guys remember the Coruscant Card game, the website? Coruscant Card game heard our podcast, and they sent us like a gift of the original DM screen from the original game.
Oh yeah, the outside looks like a cereal box until you open it, and then the inside it looks like the dashboard.
That's a good idea. We have the old, remember the old Ralston Purina Ghostbusters cereal? Put that on DM screen.
Since then we've done events where we pick up a bunch of Twinkies, and we found recipes to make our own Ecto Cooler.
Oh yeah.
Isn't Ghostbusters Chicago?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. That's where we got it from. That's the recipe. That's the recipe we use.
We credit them as the recipe, but we're trying to see if we can fine tune it to what feels. Because we've done different mixtures of it.
It's a little too sweet.
It was a little too sweet. There was supposed to be a kind of sour bite to it.
Yeah.
I know sometimes when I go to sleep and I can't sleep, the memory of Ecto Cooler is the only thing that puts me to burn.
Nectar of a god.
I'm hoping with the...
actually, the nectar of gozer, if you want to be specific.
Delicious.
I'm hoping with the...
Please go through over
Let me tell you how we made Ecto Cooler. I was in New York once, and I found this out. I was in New York. I was at their headquarters, the IT headquarters. I said, well, you know, so you want to meet the CEO? I said, yeah. And he came out and he said, he looked at me and he said, takes you to your destruction. And I imagine, you know, a lovely fruity drink, and then you made it. And it ran things through New York. Now we have that stuff.
Thank you.
I love the if I can get two up front and left.
We owe it all to you, sir.
Blame me for it, because in the picture you're describing, it wasn't to give me the acting, it was to take it away.
It was what made me sad as a child.
I'm hoping that was the new cinematic universe.
What makes you sad as an adult?
Oh, I'm still working off my baby.
Carried over from
I was 700 pounds.
that baby, the baby.
I understand, I sympathize. I'm a late-term abortion.
You're still working on it. Don't give up.
You can win this. Don't let them put you down
So yeah, I guess primarily what we're here to promote is just to get more listeners, man, because the amount of people listening to us versus the amount of people that listen to us and then want to play the game it's a huge ratio of people who want to become actively involved in the community we create. It's very coherent. So you can hop in. You can what we do too is if you order online, if you buy a franchise kit for you, we'll print it out with your specific franchise name,
right.
You know, and send it to you pre-made and everything, and it's awesome.
The Proton Charging guys are part of Ghostbusters of British Columbia, and they're starting up a fan film series, and they ordered a franchise kit, so they're going to have their certificate part of their film of like in the back of like their official franchise certificate. We're like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
it's nice that there was other big members of the community were really taking to it. It's a shame that it's we do have a lot of listeners, but they're very passionate about it. But it's not like what's the Christian show that's really popular? Night Vale. It's not like it's not exactly Night Vale, but it's
we haven't gotten the exposure either, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing is that I've listened to you guys for ages, and I listen to your show and I enjoy it, and you're bringing this game back. I think what you're going for is sort of what I think when I listen to you, is that I would like to see this become sort of what Vampire the Masquerade was in the late 90s, where we've got different, different expansions, different franchises in different areas, and then say a convention, something like, conventions get together. We can meet in character. We can come and we can say, oh, you work Jersey? Yeah, well, I work Tumwa, Iowa. You get goblins out there. Well, we only get free floating repeaters where I'm at.
Exactly.
And it'd be nice to get it set up like the 40K does, where there's a big story event planned, and then they actually have they go and have a big tournament, and the fate of the tournament determines how the universe.
Well, that's how Vampire the Masquerade works.
Exactly.
Could you imagine us being there, just kind of leading the charge?
No.
Imagine a whole Space Marine Army based on the Ghostbusters.
Oh my God, I need it now. Space Marine Ghostbusters.
I thought about that. After the orcs. Yeah, Orcbusters. Because that big machine that the orc shaman built, the big thing with the 3 balls and. Well, I'm talking about. You can picture it.
Talking about the Killer Can?
No, not the Killer Can. It's the Weird Boy. He does this big kind of...
Oh, yeah.
He's got this backpack.
It's like a giant Tesla coil.
Yeah, he's got a backpack that's kind of like a direct up. And you know what, when I look at Proton Pack, I think, I know what must have built that.
Hit with an hammer.
Exactly. He's like, and then he built the XL1, and he's like, what is white? Yeah, that makes it go faster. Put some red on it.
You do a whole orc cult of speed. I'm feeling like orcs is like throwing stuff together to make weapons. I mean, I've seen a guy online. That's 100% what we did.
It is. That's what the Ghostbusters did.
Exactly.
Are you sure these things are going to work? Well, either they work or creation as we know it is, but turn them on.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a guide online of somebody went to Facebook Nerd Fest. I talked to somebody at one of the booths there for props, and they have a guide on YouTube on how to make a proton pack for under $100. And they showed me the one that they had, and it's like, it looks almost like it popped out of the movie. I was like, that's really cool. Like, yeah, this part here is a cake tin, this is a strip from a Hot Wheels racing set.
Yeah, well, your buddy that you didn't invite, I was I used to sell those on eBay. I used to make the proton packs and sell them. And yeah, you know, the thing is that it was, what's interesting is it wasn't even just in character, we take what we got and we put it together. The film itself was, this is what we got, let's put a bunch of ravel together, let's make a mold of it, put expanded foam in it and pull it out. And yeah, I like that mentality of we do what we gotta do. You know, and that's one of the reasons I love the Ghostbusters.
One of the nice things about the game is that it plans in this kind of haphazard.
The idea if these guys haven't really had to use it, but the idea is if you run into a problem and they don't really know how to solve it, it gives so much freedom to be like, if you want to invent a piece of equipment that's never existed in any of the versions of Ghostbusters, there's a rule as to how to allow that to create.
I was going to say, we did.
Actually, they did do. They did it. That's wait, other than the slime net, what was the other thing?
Slime grenades?
You can call it, you guys didn't invent the slime grenade.
No, we didn't invent the slime net.
You did invent the slime net. They were playing.
We were fighting.
Kids of America invented the slime grenade in 1988. It was the worst game ever made.
And so they definitely repurposed it.
We had a particular fight where we kept having to use the slime tether, which is something that's from the new game. Or instead of just a blower, you can also like.
I think somebody finally busted that thing with ears.
There's a new thing with the ears.
You reckon the inside of a Pokeball is like the inside of a container?
Except it looks like that.
It probably looks like the inside of that mug.
No, it can't look like that because Pikachu would have split his throat like 80 years ago.
So, we kept having to tether things and re-tether things. We were having a really hard time with it, and then we came up with the idea of what if you use the same, something like viscous or like a little more like stronger that you would use for like a tether, but then you put like a net attachment on the end and it would fire out like a net that was still like the sticky tethering you, but you wouldn't have to like keep firing.
Essentially like when you have a cold and you try and spit and just don't break off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I believe when I think I don't know if it ended up being on the show, but I remember describing that when Rick was first building like the prototype for it before you guys were able to metal fashion it. It was made with a mixture of things, including a waffling iron. It could be like on the end of this thing and then just shoot out. And then it's like, all right, well now that works in principle, let's start machining it.
One of those useful things we invented.
All the time. Again, that comes back to we're out of our league here.
Exactly.
We do what we got to do, and we work on it, we improve it every time. And that's what I like, because you look at the Ghostbusters and it's, life is not going well for us. But here's a new business. And it's kind of like, start a business today, you can't. There's no pioneer. There's no new land to conquer. But for them, there was land to conquer.
Yeah,
this new supernatural
franchise rights alone will make them
Exactly. I imagine the Ghostbusters have retired by now, except for the dead one. And they've done too soon.
Remember,
I was going to make an Abraham Lincoln joke after that, but you're right, too soon.
He was the first Ghostbuster.
He was the vampire.
Yeah,
Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter.
But in his memoriam, I'm growing out my beard to look like his hair. So okay, I can make that joke.
Just be sure to leave that extra spot. Is that too soon?
No, I don't think so. But when it was talked about the Ghostbusters prequel that came out, it was called Stripes. And it was so popular.
Well, they all became friends.
They all became friends. And then, they were actually war buddies apparently before college. When you say time frame, are they shutting this thing down?
No, it's supposed to be, I think the Pikachu partition.
Yeah, they don't want Pikachu getting knocked out into the world.
The franchise thing alone, though, is probably my only complaint with the new movies that are going to be coming out. It's like all
we hope will be coming out.
Well, like
They're gonna make them.
even like the all-female cast, like that doesn't like people like because
Well,
those are the big
they
Ghostbusters.
didn't actually do that, right?
They're going to.
Oh yeah, it's still made. It's still
We
made.
didn't make it.
Yeah. But like, the only reason that it bothers me is because a pre-existing universe with rules already exists that allows multiple franchises. Without me, but instead
Without any
exactly. But instead they're doing a reboot, and I'm like, I don't.
A reboot where none of them are scientists that don't understand the equipment and no person would give budget like that to
Like,
you and I, we can't walk into CERN and say, I'm just here to use the Hadron Collider for like 20 minutes.
Well, the difference is we got instructions from the original Ghostbusters. That's the difference, though. They will not.
With the reboot, we don't know if they're the ones who invent the material already.
Well, and you see an option
I've
like
heard
where
you
they're
guys say sequel, and I've heard you guys say reboot.
It's a reboot.
It is a reboot. Yeah.
I tell you what, in honor of the reboot, let's take a moment of silence for Harold Ramis and to name every woman who's ever been funny, please. Okay.
Damn.
I'd say Tina Fey, but she's not involved with the third movie.
Yeah.
I'd say Tina Fey too, but I have this thing where I don't like to be wrong.
Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
No, wait, what's, Kristen Shaw.
Oh, Kristen Shaw.
Kristen Shaw is...
Oh my God, no, you were kidding. That guy from Boston, that kid from Boston Burgers?
Yeah.
No!
She's amazing.
I don't want to
I can do a funny voice and yell, and if that makes you funny, fine.
Did you see?
It's her stand-up.
Yeah, the stand-up is Flight of the
I've heard
Conchords.
her stand-up, and I've seen Flight of the Conchords, and if I'd known you guys like said, I would have won a big bowl of
The big problem. Well, I guess they also. They're directed that they want to make an all-male version too.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's already made an all-male version. It's not everybody called Ghostbusters.
But the original Ghostbusters wasn't the all-male Ghostbusters. It was just the Ghostbusters. It was just the Ghostbusters. In fact, they were all-male was incidental.
Let me ask you guys this. Because I've thought about this for a long time. I told you I did some consulting and some work on the Ghostbusters and Freddy thing. Would you guys ever be interested in doing Ghostbusters, maybe like 30-minute short film based on the original treatment?
Well, he's asking, the original treatment?
Where they have a strap to their wrist and they're going and fighting these big things.
It would kind of go against since we're going into we're doing the same off of the film.
No, it would kind of be an aside. It basically would work like this, they really do supernatural things, and we fight them. But if with all the things that you Ghostbusters have encountered, it has to become clear at some point there are multiple things. And it would be an aside. It would be like each of your characters in that world. And you do it for like 15, 20 minutes, just a short.
Then you wake up in the firehouse.
Oh, you know what? I'm not saying the same. So you wouldn't wake up. But it would kind of feel like, you guys, you have these blase jobs, and then you're like, let's go bust the ghost, let's do this, and then we kind of contrast that with all of you, in your other selves, your other dimensions.
Other versions.
And actually, other versions. That's what I'm saying.
The real Ghostbusters.
That's pretty funny. I just have one here.
You kind of like start out with like, you guys like, I hate my job.
I'll be able to tell you
And then it shows people who actually have to go and fight these Lovecraftian monstrosities every 15 minutes, and they're lucky if they get sleep in a week. And then it cuts back to you, and you're like, I had to bust a free-floating repeater. Man, this is a shit job.
It sounds very similar to the Ninja Turtles cartoon movie.
Right.
Yeah. Turtles Forever.
Yeah. In that one, it's the Ninja Turtles like meet the other versions of themselves. And it's a very stark contrast.
On RBG, they actually went into a few different parallel dimensions. And in one of them, they went to like this ghost version of New York City.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
The People Busters.
That's one of my favorite episodes.
I love that.
That's kind of like, I did like that. It's like all of a sudden you're Batman, and you're busting crime, and you like that comic where he gets put in the Judge Dredd's world, and suddenly he's a criminal. Yeah, that was a really good episode.
They also fought Cthulhu.
They did actually on the last,
and then they went to the Soviet Union and fought another great old one.
Do you remember the one where they went to Transylvania to show off their technology, and Egon's like, you know, the great thing about it is the beams don't hurt people. And he puts his hand in front of it, and his sleeve catches on fire.
And I remember the beams will hurt.
Yeah. Because we'll have space off the film.
Well, I tell you what, later on, after this panel, when we're all hitting the urinal, I'll make sure we don't cross the stream.
Thank you. I don't want to have all my atoms explode.
I'm gonna pretend like I'm the first one that made the don't cross the streams measure joke.
Yeah, Aykroyd somewhere has a show. He's like,
I feel like someone's tearing apart my world.
the line.
You know what?
Besides him.
I feel like someone's tearing apart my world. He already did that supernatural show. He dug his own grave.
Also, signing over the right to do this reboot. And like, I don't know. Whatever. I mean, if it brings back Ecto Cooler, it might be worth it.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I figured Dan Aykroyd was thinking. Well, I tell you what. I've got a great idea for the new Ghostbusters franchise. You give me a lot of money, and then I don't give a shit.
I think
At least he laughed. I think one of you was holding back.
I think the interesting thing is Bill Murray is my barometer. Because
Bill Murray is my barometer. Is that the title of your autobiography?
Actually,
That's a good idea. Bill Murray is my barometer.
I have failed at life because I've not lived up to the standard.
Exactly. Bill Murray is my barometer. Written by Central Florida.
Yeah,
Good props.
He never, every time that a third Ghostbusters movie got brought up, he always said, I haven't seen a good script yet. Every time.
No, sometimes. At least a couple of times he said, okay, but if only if everybody else is on board.
Yeah, but as far as we know, there was no script written.
Right,
exactly. Nobody commissioned the script to be written.
And then fucking Louis Tully came out and said, I'm never going to act again. He's an old man.
Hiring.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? He's like 50 years old.
I wonder how they're going to do
like 980.
That's what
Dan Aykroyd
not even well.
Dan Aykroyd had to do Spaceballs too. But Joan Rivers is dead, and Rick Moranis doesn't act anymore. I don't know how you're going to do Spaceballs too.
Well, very easy. Joan Rivers may be dead, but Abe Vigoda is still alive. We'll just put him in a blonde wig. Don't nod like you know who Abe Vigoda is.
He's the fish.
Regardless? Yeah. What are you, like 40?
He was in the Godfather.
Yeah, Godfather, Barney. Yeah. And he's died 3 times already, and he's still kicking.
There is a website dedicated to this. It's called Is Abe Vigoda Still Alive?
All you do is you go there and pick your Abe Vigoda and just say yes, and someday we'll say no.
You know what? The thing is, when I talk about that, just picture that I know nothing that's happened after 1998, and then I'm 900 years old. I will talk to you, and I'll talk about, I'll say, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. We can talk about Joe Friday all day, but I have never in my life heard a Lady Gaga song. Seriously. Until a couple of years ago.
So you got a question, say.
I just want to bring up, didn't Bill Murray recently co-starred in a movie with Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah, it was a smaller film. That's like that he gave his sort of seal of approval. I don't know. I don't know which one it was. I think you're right. Like he worked somehow involved with her in a film.
He is right. I heard about her. But
she's really good too. I mean, I'm hoping the new Ghostbusters is good. You know,
well, hope is good.
Yeah. I mean,
every time I go to the bathroom in the morning, I hope it's time.
But yeah, I mean, because Melissa McCarthy can do it. I mean, after seeing Bridesmaids, you know that she can play a range of comedic characters.
Bridesmaids is your benchmark?
For Melissa McCarthy, definitely, yeah.
That's like saying you won the Special Olympics, so here's.
Well, it's like saying I love, I don't know if Christopher Walken can do this, but in Pulp Fiction he gave the monologue about a watch. I mean, like, she really brought it to another level in that movie, compared to anybody else.
I just believe the thing, I'm not worried about the actresses, I'm worried about the writing. I'm worried about the people that get this from making, you know.
Well, yeah, and on top of that, here's what I'm worried about is that, look, we all saw Ghostbusters 1 and 2, except for that guy. And it was the special effects. They were not on par for today, but they worked perfectly because when you pulled out a proton pack and you shot that beam, it looked real. It looked like, and you know what? If you take today's CG and you do that same beam, it'll look like who very much.
And it's the thing because the proton beam is a beam of light, and they made that effect by making it a beam of light.
Exactly.
You know, when now with CG, it's not even the light is not even really.
Well, that's what I mean. It looks like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you guys where you got that guy that's a cartoon character next to him, and you just don't buy it.
Or the lightsabers in the prequels.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same issue, because in the original ones, they're solid beams. They light up
light coming through a piece of film.
Let's not talk about the prequels. What do they say these days? Trigger warning.
As long as they don't go like super crazy on CG, I love movies that do practical effects.
Well, that's the thing, practical effects. They're not going to do practical.
Well, I mean, you couldn't really call the original beams, you wouldn't call them practical.
It's optical.
But I would say, like,
yeah, exactly.
but you did actually have, you know, when the dog comes out of the fridge, like, it's there. There was a physical spot there, yeah.
Exactly, and that's the thing I would like to see with this. So basically with these, you know what that's about, yeah. But you guys with this new movie, I think what you can do is, it's like, here's your meals. The big bowl of shrimp. Pick up one. All the good stuff you can find to add to your lore, to add to your storyline. Take all the good stuff you like.
Well, I guess, I mean, we're going to leave the rest of it in the bowl.
I've actually thought about that. Like, what are we going to do once the new movie comes out? It's like a reboot and everything else. My approach is that if the movie, even though the chances may be slim, even though the chances may be slim, if the movie is fantastic, then we'll just say, hey, that's a great movie. If the movie's really bad, then we'll just say, oh no. It's not canon. But we in our universe can acknowledge that movie as being a fictional movie.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. The social network about Facebook, they made the new movie about the Ghostbusters.
I haven't seen a movie about, like...
So we can, like, you know, like, mention, like, yeah, so it's like 6 months after you guys get back from Europe, and there's more calls coming in.
We'll wait for another 10 minutes, but welcome. We might be doing another panel later, so by all means,
Yeah, we can start season 3, like, walking out of the movie theater.
I do like that idea, because you know what? The way you guys have framed it, you're selling franchises, and you know, it's going around. Well, of course there's going to be a fictional movie made. And think of the climate we live in. If Ghostbusters were real, and it's all a bunch of dudes. Just think about it. How many female garbage collectors do you see?
That's the thing. They're exterminating.
Well, yeah. You never see a female garbage collector, a female exterminator, any of that stuff. But the climate we live in, they would want to say, well, we'll take this stuff, we'll make it all female. And so then, treat the movie like the exact movie came out in your universe. And
we walked out of theaters like, man, they got that wrong.
Like, it's not what my daily life is like. You're close. It's, we walked out of the theater because we got a call and we had to actually go do some real work.
The interesting thing, though, is that even if the movie is terrible, which I hope it's not, is that as long as they don't break the rules, that is instead of
and if you play this in the movie, it always is followed by, I hope it's not bad.
Yeah, I really do. As Ghostbusters fans, we really hope it's good.
I don't want to see a failure.
Even though I knew the new Turtles movie was going to be bad, I hoped it would be good.
It's the thing with Ghostbusters.
I got some bad news.
It's like, hey, you want to try anal? I hope it's not bad. No, it's going to be bad. And you know it's going to be bad, and you try and believe it won't.
Yeah, but I will say I was pleasantly surprised with the Avengers. because I thought that was going to be the biggest train wreck.
Yeah, that's true.
Like coming from all these separate movies, which were good,
were okay,
okay.
yeah.
Then I thought that you mash them all together, it's going to be the worst thing ever, and I was so happy that wasn't the case. Yeah, right. But to be fair, he had a hand in Dollhouse, and I was,
like, you know, Firefly, fucking Vampire Slayer.
Sure.
I own the entire DVD collection of Dollhouse. My bed was uneven, and it was $5 at Big Lots.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm hoping it's like the Avengers. That's what I'm hoping.
Here's the thing, as creators of the podcast, this is what worries me. Paul Teague, the writer-director, when asked why he wanted to do a reboot instead of just a continuation, he said, I'm paraphrasing, he said basically, after you've had those two films and such big, world-changing events as that, I don't know where to go from there, because ghosts are everywhere, and these big events, as the whole world has seen it, the thing that made Ghostbusters special was that they were starting from scratch and they weren't really known. And I'm like, well, I feel like we've proved that wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, there's places to go.
I don't think Ghostbusters needs a remake.
Right.
I think it needs a proper sequel. And for some reason, they don't want to do that because they think there's not a market base for it.
Well, the funny thing is that it's not a movie, and that's the problem, but at every step, the video game proves them wrong. Because the video game, the story's perfect.
Well, exactly, I agree, and what did Dan Aykroyd say? You've been crying for a third Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, here it is.
This is it.
Yeah.
So you know what? I don't consider it. You're saying it's not a movie.
Well, it is. Hollywood doesn't consider it.
If anyone is not the Ghostbusters game,
Hollywood considers every Adam Sandler movie a hit. What the hell do they know?
Well, Ghostbusters game is what's the developer did they go through?
Terminal Reality.
Written and directed by voiced by all of them. All
6-hour Ghostbuster movie.
And it was great. It was amazing.
We got the memorial pit.
You know what? Give me a sec. I gotta call Dan and get him in here. I'm busy investigating the supernatural. Also, I'm making wine.
It's like,
It's like a mathematics stuff.
I know it's not strictly Ghostbusters, but man, like when it's sad to hear that Harold Ramis dies, the first thing I think of is Groundhog Day. Amazing movie.
That's funny. The first time I heard Harold Ramis died, I thought, man, Stripes needs an alternate ending now.
It's a bummer.
Either
that or it's like the infected containment unit sleeping on him.
There was that supposedly Ghostbusters 3 script that came out recently that was supposedly written back in 2009, which ended up being a complete hoax. I actually got to read the whole thing. So I was like, I want to see what, I think I know what to do. Yeah, two fingers and seriously. The ending was the only thing that was the only thing that was good about it was the ending, where all the Ghostbusters sacrifice themselves, and then it cuts to Janine back to the firehouse, clean up, and the new Ghostbusters take over, and she goes down to the basement because the light is on, and all the Ghostbusters are ghosts playing cards, and they look up, and I thought that's kind of cheesy, but then Bateman just says, don't tell the health inspector. That would be okay. Like everything else.
It's the thing I was talking to you about before, about like a short, maybe 15-minute, 30-minute movie about, the Ghostbusters in the original script where they're jumping through it. Because the Ghostbusters in this reality, it's a thankless job, don't get paid enough, it's terrible, and then you show a contrast.
There was that comic book that was The Star Wars, which was based on George Lucas's original screenplay, the original Star Wars trilogy.
Right.
And it was great. It's good. It's off the wall. It was very, very different. It would be cool to see like that.
Is Han Solo a giant lizard?
Yeah.
And even talking like alternate takes, I've seen some really cool like fan stuff online. Someone actually, I think it was probably V, who wrote out an alternate take on the first movie where their first bus at the hotel.
So they're chasing Slimer at the hotel, and this was like a flash fiction that was of what was the idea that when slime, because someone pointed out, slime goes through a wall and it leaves slime. Well, what happens when he passes through a person? What if it leaves slime in your lungs? Like, what about the death?
Oh, so like Ray comes around the corner.
So someone she wrote this fiction of Slimer hits the whole first move. The first half of the movie happens. He's, Ray, it's only it won't hurt you. Boom, you get slimed, and Ray goes around the corner, and then suddenly he dies. He drowns. He is drowning. He's got pneumonia. He's dead. No, he's pneumonia.
Yeah. The first 100% full.
He's drowning. And so this flash picture that was quickly written is what would happen if Ray ran around that corner and he sees his friend Dankman die, and he declares war on everything.
This is not turning into dead Ray.
No. Like this ends with like Gozer showing up and it's like Ray
goes on to take down every joke in New York.
And Ray stands when they hit the top of it, when they hit the top of Gozer show, he's all like unshaven for 2 days.
He's up there all there. And what was the line that says Gozer asks if they're a god?
And he goes, I heard what he said, he puts the cigarette out and lights goes off.
It's like, are you a god?
No, I think it was something like, are you a god? And it was like, there is no god. And was that, right?
No, he said something. It was,
is there a god?
He's incredibly badass.
Are you a god? In the future, my friend,
I remember seeing this on YouTube, like, I don't know, like a year ago maybe, but someone did like a real Ghostbusters fan film.
Yes, I have. You know what I have with the blonde hair?
I have one.
Yeah.
I have it. Do you guys know the name? I'll just do the real Ghostbusters.
And I mean, they had the soundtrack, like with Emmy. You had, the little MIDI, like with the music. It was well done for a fan project.
You know what? I was talking about maybe you guys, somewhere the original Ghostbusters strip is all the universe. What about Real Ghostbusters 12? Is it alternate?
That sounds like the Ninja Turtles forever.
I don't watch them.
Well, that's one good you watch it.
Where the modern cartoon, the 80s cartoon, what year did it come out?
07.
It goes all the way back to the original comic book.
The comic book.
Is it the comic book Turtles? The Turtles like your Woods and
Comic book Turtles.
Yeah.
It's like,
they were the ones that were like,
Turtles are like the original Batman. Batman was, I stalk people and terrify them.
I'm pretty sure, don't they call them out for wearing different colors?
Yeah,
they do. Why do you have to wear different colors?
They all wear red. The modern cartoon goes back to the 80s Turtles. They go, what are you guys wearing the letters on your belt when you forget who you are? And then they make fun of like, wait, it's like, and then they get thrown into the comic book, and the comic book ones are like, why are you guys wearing the colors if you forget who you are?
I read it from the beginning, and I really read that.
Yeah.
And there were no letters, and it was
they were ninjas.
Oh, someone's stealing my purse!
There's lots of comedy in there too, because the Shredder from the comic books was a rube. Like he was terrible.
He was the bumbling villain.
But the Shredder from the newest cartoon comes back and he's confident. Like he's much more confident than the 80s version.
Turtle suits.
But that one comes to the comic book one because they're using the Technodrome to like merge all these worlds and stuff. And the Turtles from the most recent cartoon are warning the comic book Turtles that this Shredder's different. He's confident.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta wear, and the 80s Turtles stuff. Let's go, girl!
He's an Adam West Batman.
Exactly.
Well, you know, the funny thing is that you got that Shredder from the 80s cartoon. He was voiced by Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
But then in the comic, Baxter Stockman was a Negro. And then they make him a white guy in the cartoon. But then they have a black guy voice. It's like, you know, you're keeping it one way and then you're switching it another way. And then he'll say he was a competent scientist.
We're 2 minutes over, and someone else is going to be taking this panel over after we're done. So,
look.
We need to split.
How about like that out, and then we wait until nobody shows up for the next one.
Well, come stop by our booth. It'll be the people who came in later. If you guys want to find out about our Ghostbusters podcast, swing by and we'll talk to you guys about it.
It's not just the podcast either. We do a whole franchise with the game and stuff. You can find out how to play yourself. So.
Hey, we want your money. We wish you guys would
We tell you how to play the game and want to get involved. Yeah.